$64,354. This is the amount of money that I made using a crypto strategy that is so simple that someone in their first month of crypto investing could use. I know you probably don't believe me, but if you give me the rest of this video, I think that I can change your mind. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tyler Hill, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Crypto Strategy School, one of the biggest schools in crypto, servicing thousands of students every single month. And today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you exactly what the strategy is and exactly how I used it to make nearly $70,000. Now, before I can show you this strategy, I need to tell you a bit of a story. Now, this story takes place in 2021, right in the middle of the absolute madness that was the bull market of 2021, with things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and many more flying to all-time highs, more retail investors entering into the crypto space than it's ever seen before, and absolute madness across meme coins, altcoins, and everything alike. Now, in the middle of all of this absolute chaos, a company really starts to take the main stage, and that is FTX, run by a man named Sam Bankman-Fried. You see, FTX was again a centralized exchange that everyone really started to like and started using almost immediately, especially as Sam Bankman-Fried gained a lot of popularity. You see, he was doing shows with Tom Brady, partying with Katy Perry, lobbying politicians, and all over DC, making FTX absolute butt tons of money until they weren't. You see, what happened in 2021 is that as the year came to a close, things happened and they happened fast. Bitcoin immediately started falling. Altcoin investors started losing money very quickly. Platforms started absolutely getting destroyed, disappearing, while retail investors were leaving in droves, leaving many companies in shambles. And as 2022 really started to gain momentum to the downside, as things got worse and worse, many companies started to fall, FTX being included. You see, what happened in 2022 was that FTX was exposed for realistically being a fraud. You see, what they were doing was they were creating an infinite money glitch that only sustained itself as long as they were getting new deposits from their investors. Many people call it a pyramid scheme. And as a result of what they were doing with their sister company, Alameda Research, well, things got bad. Somebody figured out what was going on. We started to see a little bit of an expose happening. People were starting to say that FTX was a scam. Sam Bankman-Fried started to panic, and next thing you know, Sam Bankman-Fried's on the run getting arrested in the Bahamas as it comes out that FTX is actually a scam. It was a crazy moment in crypto history, but it didn't end there. You see, in the middle of this scam was another company, their sister company, named Alameda Research. And Alameda Research was a company that invested into other companies, funding them to help, of course, help them generate more revenue to make a profit themselves. And in the middle of that investment portfolio was our good friend Solana. Now, Solana is still one of the top cryptos in the world, top 5, top 10, and it has been for years. And this is a crypto that had a ton of popularity back then. I mean, it was billions of dollars in market cap, cracking through the top 5, and everyone was talking about it, but now they faced a major problem. Alameda Research held over 10% of their total token supply. And if Alameda Research went underwater or bankrupt, many people started speculating that this could be the beginning of the end for Solana. And that if Alameda Research went and sold all of this Solana, that Sol's price was probably going to absolutely tank and it wasn't going to be able to recover. We started to see Solana's price dropping like crazy as a result of these rumors that were spreading, falling from $257 all the way to $8, causing absolute mayhem in the market, and well, that's when your boy enters the story. You see, at the time that all of this happened, I had been talking about Solana every single day for the most part. If you look at my channel, I mean, you can see every other video was about Solana. I had a huge position of my entire investment portfolio in Solana. I was a real Solana stan, if we're being honest here. And instead of looking at this moment with pure panic or as a threat to my portfolio, realistically, I saw it as an opportunity. Matter of fact, if you go watch my channel from a couple years ago, I was talking about the fact that I wasn't giving up on Solana. And while everyone else was freaking out and all nervous and worried, I actually saw 3 core aspects of this crash as a key point of opportunity. Everybody was terrified. All macro and micro indicators were showing that Solana's price was oversold, or meaning it went too far down too fast. And realistically, Solana's price had fallen like crazy without the actual fundamental value of Solana as a company going down at all. And so what this seemed like to me was a great opportunity. Look, everybody's scared, its price is going down, but it's showing oversold. Indicators are telling me to buy. So what did I go ahead and do? Well, I ended up buying 674 Solana at $11.19 each, spending $7,524. Now, you might think, Tyler, what the heck, dude? Like, that's a crazy thing to do, especially in a moment like that. But the reality is that just 4 years later, the total profit on that purchase in that moment was over $78,000, over 1,000% in gains. Now, I didn't, of course, keep all of it. I did take profits along the way, which is why my total profit was only $64,000, but the picture is still the same. This wasn't an act of luck. I didn't just buy that Solana just to buy that Solana. I bought that Solana based on strategy, based off opportunities that I recognized in the market in that moment. And matter of fact, this strategy that I used in order to buy that Solana is something that I call the SIV strategy. And what I want to do is I want to share that strategy right here, right now with you, so you can take the strategy that made me nearly $70,000 and apply it to your own portfolio. Now, before I show you that strategy, I need you to remember something, and I need you to hold it near and dear to your heart, and don't forget it. 99% of crypto investors who don't have a strategy will lose over 70% of their entire account within 12 months. And the reason this is so important is because when I show you the strategy, you may think it's not worth looking at. You may not even think it's worth using. But again, remember, the people who don't have strategies overwhelmingly lose. Matter of fact, the strategy is so important that I've created an entire school based around it. We have the Crypto Strategy School, which I told you earlier services thousands of students every single month. And what we do is we take crypto investors and we give them as much value as we really can. Coaching, workshops, classes, signals, and much more to help them create strategies, because the reality is that the strategy is what creates the winning investor. And so if you're somebody who does like this sort of content and you do want to start building your own strategies, maybe even backed off of what I'm about to tell you about the SIV strategy, all that I ask from you is to head to the link down below and go check out the Crypto Strategy School. Because again, this is the single best place in all of crypto for those of you who actually want to create strategies that turn you into winning investors. So click that link down below. But let's now dive into the SIV strategy and exactly how it works. So the SIV strategy is very simple. It's a strategy that I use to determine when I want to buy a crypto in mass or not. So when do I want to do a big purchase of one specific crypto, or maybe even multiple cryptos? Now, the SIV strategy can be broken down into three pieces. The S stands for sentiment, the I stands for indicators, and the V stands for value. Now, first and foremost is, of course, again, sentiment. If I'm looking to buy a crypto, say Solana, at a moment like we saw previously in history, whenever I bought it at $11, what I'm looking for is for traders to be very scared or worried that they're going to lose a lot of money. I'm looking for negative comments. I'm looking for a reduction in trading volume. I'm looking at a reduction in engagement. I want to see the crypto fear and greed index in red. Back then, whenever I bought the Solana, the crypto fear and greed index was at a 29. People were extremely scared of the market. And that's what I'm looking for, because as you hear this cliche saying all the time, buy when other people are fearful and sell when other people are greedy. And I know it's cliche and it's so corny to say, but the reality of it is it's super important. And the first step of the SIV strategy is to look for those moments when everyone is scared and when everyone's worried, because it opens the door of opportunity to be able to make real strong gains. Now, the next piece of the SIV strategy is, again, indicators. If I'm going to purchase a project, what I'm looking for is for major indicators to be showing oversold signals. This could be the RSI, this could be the MACD, this could be Bollinger Bands. And if you don't understand indicators, don't worry, we're going to talk about them more in depth in another video. We'll save it for another time, but I'm looking for things like that. At the time that I purchased Solana, we saw the Bollinger Bands completely overextended. We saw the RSI in oversold territory. We saw the MACD giving us a bull cross. Everything telling us that we were oversold on Solana, and the likelihood of it continuing to fall was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And whenever you pair everyone being scared with the idea that we probably don't have that much further down to go, it starts to create an opportunity for a reversal, which is what I was looking for. But we can't just use these two things. We need the very last aspect of it to be sure, to be confident that we want to be purchasing that specific asset, and that is value. What I'm looking for in the third piece of the SIV formula is that the project is not losing intrinsic value. And so what I mean by that is I want to say this, listen. If Solana, for example, is falling in price, I don't want it to be because Solana's overall tech changed, or they something broke with the company, or their CEO quit. I don't want it to be any of those things because that means intrinsic value has changed, and the new price might actually just be reflecting the actual value of Solana. No, what I want to see is whether or not Solana's price is going down due to things it can't control, external factors, which is what we saw in this example. You see, Alameda Research owning a piece of Solana supply wasn't really Solana's fault. And it doesn't change the vision of Solana, the tech behind Solana, the true value of Solana. It just makes things a little bit risky from a price perspective. And so the fact that its value was not going down, but its price was going down, was a representation more of an opportunity than a moment of panic. And when you mix in the fact that the indicators were showing that there shouldn't be that much further down for us to go, it's the perfect storm for us to do, of course, some buying. And of course, in that moment, I did recognize that all three of my boxes were checked from sentiment, indicators, and value to complete the SIV formula. And well, what do you know? It was time to start doing some buying. And listen, I know that it sounds simple, so simple that it sounds stupid. I get that. But the reality of it is we can just, for example, let's just look at Bitcoin, right? Let me just kind of erase the thought of Solana out your brain right now. Let's just look at Bitcoin just within the last year of creating this video. There have only been 3 instances in which Bitcoin has matched the SIV criteria, in which sentiment was terrible, indicators were oversold, and value hadn't gone down. In every single instance that we saw this within the last the last 12 to 15 months, guess what? It was a representation that we were somewhere near a bottom, and that's exactly what we did. And so I know it might seem simple, and so simple that it's actually just not a good strategy. But the reality is, complexity of a strategy does not always mean it's more effective. Sometimes the most simple strategies can serve you the best over the long term. And I've come to realize after being in the market for nearly 7 years, honestly, guys, that most people make their strategies more complex on accident. Time goes on and they slowly add more and more things to it before next thing you know, they have this huge complex strategy that they don't really need. Don't think that you need your strategy to be super complicated, that it needs to be scary and crazy. Because again, the reality is that most often the best money I've made has been off some of the most simple long-term buy and hold strategies. And all of these things, again, all of these different strategy types, all of this information that you could possibly learn when it comes to creating strategy is all available for you over in the Crypto Strategy School. Guys, you can see the server itself. Look at how much there is there. Trades, professional trades, daily deep dives, weekly reports, daily analysis, requests, live shows, coaching, signals, one-on-ones. I mean, it's endless. And so this is the SIV strategy, and this is the art of strategy for you. And if you are somebody who, again, is trying to make a strategy, trying to grow as an investor, check out that link down below. But I hope you guys did enjoy the SIV strategy, and I hope you guys did enjoy my story today. You know, I've really been enjoying this brand new channel, and I feel like some of this value that I'm going to be able to provide here can hopefully help people from years and years and years to come. And so if you have been enjoying it, all that I ask is that you smash the like button, that you do subscribe to Tyler Teaches Crypto, and look forward to the next video because it's going to be a good one. But before you go, again, don't forget to check out the links in the description. And if you do want the 15 lessons that I have learned over the last 7 years, make sure to go check out the first video that pops up down below.